irregular active verbs in the future tense form just as irregularly as those in the imperfect and present tenses. However, there is the added fun of our future tense with the first and second and the third and fourth declensions both having different sets of endings. Now, esse and posse will follow similar patterns and use to both the present and imperfect tenses and use neither the future endings from the first and second nor the third and fourth conjugation groups. Fero, wolo, and nolo will all use the third and fourth conjugation endings. And ao will use the bi from the first and second conjugation endings in the future. And as always, memorizing verb forms of the irregular verbs is the only way to know for sure that you're doing it right. Forming the future of sum and esse, you're going to use the root eri. Kind of like in the imperfect tense where we used era, here we're changing it to I. The best way to remember the vowel ending for the sum in the future is that it is going to be the exact same as the vowel used with the be for the first and second conjugation verbs. So a bi, here we're going to use eri for the future tense of sum. And you're just going to add your personal endings. So, for example, an s. Now, translating sum and esse in the future, here are going to be all the forms. Now, ero is I will be, eris, you will be, erit, he, she, it will be, erimus, we will be, eritus, you will be, you all will be, technically, and erunt, they will be. Now, moving on to possum posse. In order to form possum posse in the future, we're going to use the exact same patterns we have used for possum posse with both the present and the imperfect tenses, meaning that we're going to use a prefix. And since the sum esse words in the future tense begin with an e, we will be using the prefix pot. So we're going to start out with that prefix, add our esse in the future, eri, and then add our personal endings. So our forms are going to go patero, I will be able, pateris, you will be able, paterit, he, she, it will be able, paterimus, we will be able, pateritus, you all will be able, and paterunt, they will be able. And moving out of the incredibly irregular verbs in the future tense, we're going to move on to ao ire, which is the only one to use the bi. So you're going to find your present stem, which is just an I, add bi, and add your personal endings. So it's going to form as ibo, I will go, ibis, you will go, ibit, he, she, it will go, ibimus, we will go, ibitus, you all will go, and finally ibunt, they will go. And like I said, ao ire is the only irregular verb to use the bo, bis, bit that is found with the first and second conjugations that are regular. And forming the future for fero, fere, here we're getting into those that use the third and fourth conjugation endings of ace, ate, amos, atus, ent. So you're going to find your present stem, which is the fer, and add your third and fourth conjugation endings, which for this one we're going to use es, so feres. Now all of fero is going to look like feram, feres, feram is I will bring, feres, you will bring, feret, he, she, it will bring, feremus, we will bring, feretus, you all will bring, and finally ferent, they will bring. Please remember that in the future tense, the e remains in the third person plural. It does not change to anything else as it often does in the present. Now, on to wolo wele. we're going to take vol, V-O-L. It's almost as if we're taking the present tense minus the ending for this. And then we're going to add the third and fourth conjugation future endings, such as an es again. So our forms of wolo are going to form as wolam, I will want, woles, you will want, wolet, he, she, it will want, wolemos, we will want, woletus, you all will want, and finally wolent, they will want. Now, since we're done with that one, we finally get to our last irregular verb, which is going to be nolo nole. And, like in the imperfect tense, it is going to form just like wolo, except you're going to substitute an N for the V. So we're going to start with nol, and then we're going to add our third and fourth future endings. For example, noles again, that es. And we have nolam, I will not want, noles, you will not want, nolet, he, she, it will not want, nolemus, we will not want, noletus, you all will not want, and finally, nolent, they will not want. Now the future tense, no matter which way you look at it, either with a regular verb or an irregular verb, is slightly more complicated than any other tense because of that extra set of endings for the third and fourth conjugations, which are different from those of the first and second. So it does take a lot of practice to recognize and memorizing which set and paying attention to the conjugations of different verbs to make sure you're using the correct endings.